they have the DNA that was on the stamps of the letters that were sent to, what was it, the San Francisco Chronicle. They still have that DNA. To my knowledge, it is never checked out against anybody. Now, I will admit that you don't need human saliva to make a stamp stick. My idea has been that could the Zodiac Killer have used a dog's saliva, a cat's saliva, some kind of animal saliva to wet it and put it on there instead of licking it himself or getting some friend or somebody involved in it. So there would be DNA, but it's actually, of course, you can tell the difference between human DNA and animal DNA. So that's something that has come to my mind. Why is it that, this was well before they ever believed that DNA could track down killers or crime or criminals of any type. So surely whoever the Zodiac Killer was could not have known that in 1970. But still, the saliva that's on these envelopes and everything seemingly hasn't led anywhere, at least as far as the public knows. So, Christine, I'm sorry you couldn't comment. I don't know what to think about that. Sorry. Hello, Valerie. Well, we're going to be shutting down the show here in a couple minutes, Valerie, but thank you for getting in late. I suppose you can go back and take a listen, because it was a heck of a show tonight. Let me hear. I'm here to tell you, Valerie. Stephanie, do you have any interest in the old, like, Jack the Ripper, even though you don't cover them? I will admit, Stephanie, that Amelia Earhart is interesting to me. Some other types of disappearances of planes and ships that have happened, going back to the early 1900s into the 1800s, the Mary Celeste and things like that. Those probably hold more of an interest to me than Jack the Ripper. So there you go. So yes, I have an interest in a lot of that older stuff. It usually does not technically involve murders. It's, once again, along disappearances, which is where I got my start as a kid on In Search Of. All right, let's move on to this Friday. We're going back to Canada. We're going up to the Great White North of Canada for the disappearance of Ashley Simpson. No, not that Ashley Simpson. This is Ashley Simpson, Ashley Simpson. She went missing April 27th of 2016, so 5.5 years ago. She disappeared from a place called Salmon Arm, British Columbia. How Canadian is that name? Salmon Arm, which is British Columbia, which is way on the western side of Canada. And the guest will be her mother, Cindy Simpson. And the name of the episode is called In a Distant Place. And like a lot of titles that I use, it has kind of a double meaning. On one hand, where she disappeared from is in a distant place. You get more than an hour or two into Canada from the American border. I don't know if you know this, but 90% of the Canadian population lives within an hour of the U.S. border. So you get more than an hour in, you start getting pretty desolate up there. But that's where she went missing from, Salmon Arm, British Columbia, Canada. So that's one of the reasons that's the name. The other reason, though, is you're going to hear about a piece of evidence. She went missing seemingly from Salmon Arm, but a key piece of evidence that surely can be connected to her disappearance, whether you believe it was foul play or something else, was found 18 hours away. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but yet. And so it'll be very interesting to me to hear about some of you kind of trying to put together your theory as to what happened and trying to incorporate this piece of evidence into that theory and make it all work. Because I know that I'm going to have a hard time doing that and writing about that for the Patreon blog this weekend. But it is a fact. So it's nice to be going back to Canada. We have not been there in a while. I think it's been a couple years. Like maybe since Immaculate Basil, maybe. So Ashley Simpson, April 27th, 2021. This is a kind of in a category. It would be a man said category where this guy she was with said that she just walked off with her suitcase and never came back. That's his story. Salmon arm, so that's two words like the fish salmon, SALMON space arm, ARM, British Columbia. The guest is her mother, Cindy. The name of the title of the episode will be In a Distant Place, and I will be doing a YouTube video to explain some of the locations for this disappearance, including where this key piece of evidence was found. So, Valerie, it's your birthday today. Your son's birthday, 15. Oh, Valerie, I'm great. Thank you for telling us. Richard says, Ed, you do a great interview with these folks. You sometimes sound like a detective. Richard, you're very kind. All I can say about that is, I've had a chance to do, even though it's been, it's like 260 episodes, 225 disappearances, but I've done probably almost 300 interviews. I would hope at some point I would get good at them. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Catherine, is she native? Is she Indigenous people of Canada? She is not. She is not, Catherine. But so that's this Friday's episode. I will tell you already that next Friday will be a replaying of the interview that I did with Steve Pankey. And the week after that, I have no idea. That's when I'll be in Colorado. I don't know what that episode. All I know is I'm not going to have any time to put together and do interviews and put an interview, regular episodes together, because these next couple weeks, going to Louisiana, going to Colorado, there's just not going to be enough time. So I'll figure something out. But surely next Friday, I will be replaying the entire interview I did with Steve Pankey 2 years ago, because, of course, the trial started. And I'm not going to, if you're looking for me to offer like a new commentary, I'll probably do it a little bit. But once again, I just have to watch myself. So that's all I got for tonight. Talked about disc golf, of course. Talked about my health, dentist, doctor, sports psychologist. My sister Diane coming down for 2 weeks to Orlando, going to see Kiss this weekend. The unfortunate death of Katie Lancaster. It hurts. Kevin Winpole, speaking engagement next week. Newsletter, Steve Pankey article. Brian Laundrie, Thomas Brown, Klein investigation. Going to have this get together on October 20th. The Zodiac Killer news. Took some questions from Jasmine and Laura. We talked about some great music. I love that. And we finished up with this Friday's episode, The Disappearance of Ashley Simpson. That's all I got. Give this video a thumbs up. Cherie, thank you for moderating.